business news being the manufacturing sector. As indicated earlier, the Absa Purchasing Managers Index falling below 50 points. We are now joined by Absa economist Andiswa Nondudule to unpack these numbers. Thank you so much for your time and your patience this afternoon. Let's first talk about what holistic picture of the manufacturing sector these numbers paint, especially as we are seeing further contraction.
Yeah, so I think in terms of what the PMI data is pointing to, obviously pointing towards, subdued growth activity levels within the manufacturing sector. So I think, it's a bit of a disappointing end to the year. But as you know, the PMI has been quite volatile and quite subdued throughout 2025.
Throughout 2025, volatile, but how then do we begin 2026? Already we are on the back foot in the South African manufacturing sector. What's the near-term outlook?
In terms of the outlook, so the expected business conditions index, so that's improved by quite a bit. But I think this is not unusual for this time of the year. So during year end, firms or businesses are usually quite optimistic about the year ahead. So that's what we're seeing there for expectations. But I think if we just dive back into the PMI numbers, what we're seeing there, much of the decline in the headline index came from a sharp decline in the inventory index as well as employment index. Because as you saw with the new sales orders and business activity, the business activity index did increase while the new sales orders index was more or less unchanged. So I think those are the two biggest contributors to the decline rather in the PMI.
It's the jobs element that is quite scary for South Africa. What's to be said about sustaining employment within the manufacturing sector if you are seeing contraction at this level?
Yeah, so I think what's happening there with employment is that, as I've said, we haven't seen a sustainable increase or an improvement in the business activity index, which is quite a good signal for output, but also, in demand as well. There hasn't been a consistent recovery in demand. So those things are making firms, we think, skeptical in terms of hiring, but also job shortages within South Africa, skills shortages rather. So making it difficult for firms to hire.
As a parting shot, what can the South African government and big business within the manufacturing sector do to turn this tide around?
Yeah, I think a focus on structural reforms would be something that, can turn the economy around. I mean, there's already some progress with Operation Vulindlela, but I think we need more of that improvement and sort of momentum from that side. But I think another positive from the PMI data was, the purchasing price index, the purchasing price index there. So that did decline further in December, despite, the fuel hikes that we saw, but the rand was quite strong in December and continues to be strong, which is also a good signal for prices going forward. So I think those are some of the positive outlooks for the sector.
Thank you, as always, for your contribution. Economist Andiswa Nondudule there talking to us about the latest Absa Purchasing Managers Index, which fell yet again this time around by 1.5 points.